My name is Linda, and I had an abortion in 2015. I was 7 weeks pregnant, and I went through a very traumatic experience of having an abortion, and I understand what it really means to have an abortion, but also I understand what it means to heal through an abortion. I was scared, and in that moment I had friends around me that were just like, yeah, let's just have an abortion. It's something that's normal and something that is quick and easy, and it's a solution, right? Solution at that time. And so I was just like, all the feelings that I was having during that time, I was just angry, I was afraid, I was just like, I can't have a child right now, And I went to the abortion facility. I had my abortion there, and I actually had the chemical abortion. And so I was in my car and I was driving, and immediately I start having contractions. And I'm like, what is happening to me? And it was excruciating pain that I couldn't obviously bear. And so I had to pull over. And I went back home to my mom, and I remember that I was obviously still in pain. And I knock on my door, and my mom just like opens it, and she sees like everything. And she's like, what just happened? And I just remember just crying. And I remember telling my mom, and I was just like, Mom, like, I just did a horrible thing, and I'm so sorry. I was depressed. I didn't want to get out of my room. I didn't want to do anything. I was basically like shaming myself and feeling horrible for what had happened. And my mom was just like, go back to church. And I was just like, no. Like, why am I going to go back to that? Like, no one is going to forgive me for what I did. I can't forgive myself for what I did. And she basically told me, what do you have to lose? And so I did. I ended up going, and I spoke to a priest in that moment, and he looked at me, and I told him everything that I did. And he didn't judge me. He didn't condemn me. He basically told me that I'm forgiven and that I can receive healing through abortion. Even reminded me that, of course, like my faith, that someone greater, right? Like Jesus died for me for my sins. I received so much freedom from that I left there, and I was thinking, wow, like this is healing, And I could start from here. Like, this isn't the end. Like, this is a start of like something beautiful. Part of my healing was actually recognizing that it was a child, it was a baby. And so in the process of healing, they tell you to name your child. And so I did, like I did name my child. A lot of people get like freaked out about it, but it's if I believe, right, life begins at conception. Like in that moment, there was a child being formed. And so I named my child Joshua. And so that was very healing for me, because in that moment, like I knew that child now is like given to the hands of like God and entrusted into His mercy. I understand, because a lot of my friends that have had the abortions, like it was just like, it's something that I had to do, but it's something that you carry with yourself, and I noticed that, and that's why once I received my healing, I said, I want to help people. Like, I want to help people to receive the healing that I have received, and help people that are in crisis pregnancies, because you are hormonal, you are afraid, you think that's, your only solution is to not have a child. You think all these problems that are going to get in the way from you actually having a child, right? And they're valid, right? Understanding what's happening, but there's help, and to really speak to those people that they're not alone. And there's so many resources out there, and there's so many people that are willing to walk with you and help you. And so that's what I do now. So I work for the national team of Sidewalk Advocates for Life. So I focus in outreach and communicating with the pregnancy centers, with basically like having that community and communicating with those people, like being on the ground of like, this is what I do. I want to get the word out there that we're here to help. My very first time that I ever did this, there was a young woman like driving in to have an abortion, and you can see like she was just looking into my eyes, and I was like, hey, like my name, I was so nervous, I didn't know what to say. I said, my name is Linda, and I want to help you. And she was just like, you want to help me? And I was like, I do. And I got through the process of talking to her, and then she was just like, yeah, like I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. Very similar. My friend told me to have an abortion, and I'm here. And so she was like in her car, and I was just like, I can help you. There's a pregnancy center nearby, and I can get you help. I can get you a free pregnancy test, free ultrasound. And I remember her seeing, like looking into my eyes in that moment, and it was like, we understood what was going on. And she just started crying, like crying. And I was just like guiding her of like, you don't need to come here. Like, you don't need to come here, because what's gonna happen is that they're gonna offer you abortion. So in response, people are responding in a different way that's wounded, right? And so for me, since I've gone through that experience, like, I don't shame anyone. You know, it's not like, don't kill your baby, you know, we don't do any of that. And I would know, right? And so we don't condemn or like judge anyone. So we just help them. Even the people coming out, like offering them resources, because that's like what happened to me. Like, I received healing from that. That's why I am where I am now, you know?